Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, listeners. This is your host, Andy Curry, and welcome to the show today. Folks, I'm excited because I have Patrice Rhoades-Baum with me on the line. Patrice has been running a business as a marketing and branding expert backed by 25 years of high-tech corporate marketing. So she's definitely in the know when it comes to marketing. Patrice is based out of the great state of Colorado, and I say great state because that's right where I live, and actually almost the same city. And she has written a workbook with 3 CDs called Nail Your Brand. So Patrice, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Andy. We have to make sure we talk business and not just how much we love living here in Colorado.
Well, I could talk on that for a long time. So, well, Patrice, let's talk about your business. You are definitely solopreneurship is your niche. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, talk about that and what you're doing to help people.
Well, let's explain first what a solopreneur is, because I know it can be a confusing topic for folks. In fact, my mom just the other day said, "What is it you do again?" And I said, "I specialize in branding for solopreneurs." So we had to talk about what branding meant, and then we also had to talk about what solopreneurs meant. So first of all, I really love working almost exclusively with solopreneurs because it's a one-person business. They're the kind of people who just make things happen, make decisions, and move forward with their careers. A solopreneur is, for the most part, a professional speaker, a business coach, life coach, corporate consultant, author of a book, and sometimes a combination. So it could be, for example, someone who's a professional speaker and also does consulting and is also authoring books. So a lot of times it's not just one of those pieces, it's a mix of that. So the solopreneur is the person who's out there, and they may have an assistant, they may even have a small staff, but the business is built on their skills, their expertise, their philosophies, their knowledge, their capability. So just getting out there with their intellectual property and sharing some kind of a message and moving people forward. But the entire business is based on their shoulders. So that's why I believe that having that clear foundation with the brand is so important for solopreneurs, because I've worked with even very successful solopreneurs, people who've been in business for years, and they're not clear about their brand. And the big reason is objectivity and perspective. When you are your business, not when you're making widgets or you're selling product, but when you are your business and it's your own skills, experience, expertise, and so forth that's coming together, it's very difficult to gain objectivity and perspective. And if that's the case, then how do you truly talk about your business? How do you truly sell your business? And I always say that your clear brand is rocket fuel because it really helps you promote and grow your business. And another thing that I say that's unique to branding, because branding I know can be a very confusing topic. A lot of people think, okay, a brand is a logo. And really, truly, a logo is a logo. A brand, my definition of your brand, your clear brand helps you quickly and clearly communicate who you are, what you do, and what they get. The benefits and results your clients receive. So who you are, what you do, and what they get. So branding is really a conceptual process. It's not logo design. Logo design comes later. Branding is a foundational conceptual process where we really clarify who you are, what you do, and what they get. That key resonating benefit that your clients get. Because without that, how do you really clearly promote and grow your business? How do you really say, this is my competitive differentiator. This is what I bring to the table. I bring this here is this particular skill and expertise to the table, can bring it and deliver that to my clients, and other people don't. That's where your competitive differentiation lies. That's what some people call your unique selling proposition. But it's not just about selling. It's really about knowing, that really solid foundation that you build your business on.
When you talk about unique selling proposition, I've been in the marketing a long time myself, not to the degree that you have. And one of I think the basic lessons that's always taught is the Domino's Pizza USP. Delivered in 30 minutes or less, or it's free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what are your thoughts on, are you using things like, are you working with solopreneurs to develop a statement like that for their business?
Mm-hmm. And in fact, I'm glad you brought that up because there is a lot of confusion too around tagline. And so when we have these discussions about branding, to really clarify who you are, what you do, and what they get, the next step that I really uniquely bring to the table, that's my own intellectual property, is to then say, all right, we're going to cross the bridge to the brand elements. Now, what are the brand elements? Well, the brand elements are the specific pieces of information, either conceptual or written down or visual, that really need to appear in all your marketing pieces, anywhere from a business card to a speaker one sheet to a brochure to your letterhead to your entire website. So these really very basic building blocks need to appear regularly, and one that's really important is the tagline. So you mentioned the Domino's tagline, and that's how they differentiate themselves. That's something that they really clearly communicate over and over. Now, my belief, because a solopreneur is a service-oriented business for the most part, they may have products they sell, they may have books they sell, but for the most part, they're delivering service. So my belief with a tagline, and this can really transfer not just to solopreneurs, but I think any business, is not to say, we have a tagline that describes us, but a tagline that's a benefit message or a promise statement. So my tagline, and let me tell you first what my website address is so that people who are listening can maybe get on and actually look at my website while I'm talking. My website address is www.brandingandwebsites.com. And so my tagline is, shine as an expert, step up as a thought leader. That's the promise statement. That's what I deliver to my clients, my solopreneurs, because what is it that at the end of the day that they really want? If they're speakers, you want to book more gigs, and if you're a business coach, you want to help drive more business leaders and so forth. But at the end of the day, the solopreneurs that I work with, they want to shine as an expert, and they can be poised to step up as a thought leader in their niche. So that's what I believe about a tagline. If it's a competitive differentiator or if it's a unique selling proposition. Now, if you're Florist Shop or if you're, IBM or Hewlett-Packard or, Apple, then you have larger concerns about what a tagline might want to communicate and how you differentiate yourself from the competition. But as a solopreneur, I just really firmly believe that tagline needs to be a benefit statement, a promise message that helps communicate to people, when I work with this person, here's what I get. Here's that end result. Here's why I end up. Here's where I'm going. So it's a promise statement. So there's a lot of differences. There's so much different ideas floating around out there about what branding is and what a tagline is. And yet for solopreneurs, because I've targeted this one specific niche, I can sort of always land at the same spot and say, I truly believe a tagline should be a promise statement, and here's why.
Now, when you're talking about, what was your first line, shine, what was that again?
Shine as an expert, step up as a thought leader.
Okay, shine as an expert. Can you give a little bit of an insight on your process to help them shine as the expert?
Yes, and in fact, this circles back to where I had just mentioned the brand elements. So when I work with folks to really clarify who you are, what you do, and what they get, the benefits and results your clients receive, a lot of concepts will float to the surface. And so at that point, we're working with what I call the ooshy-gooshy concepts. So at this point, it's all just very conceptual and it's not tactile. But then, thanks to my corporate background, at some point, you got to cross the bridge. The rubber meets the road. You've got to have marketing materials. And so then what I do is okay, now, how do we do that? We say, well, there's a set of brand elements. So first of all, just clarifying what your actual name is. And Andy, you'd be shocked at how many people use their name. Like you might call yourself Andy, you might call yourself Andrew, you might use a middle initial middle initial. You might have a set of alphabet soup letters and credentials after your name that maybe you use it, sometimes you don't. And the first thing we do is like, what is your name? Because if you're a solopreneur, you are your brand, you're the walking, talking, thing that your brand is. And so we need to first clarify, what is your name? And then next, your title. What is a hard-working title that describes who you are and what you do? Next, the tagline, the promise message that helps to explain what is it that they get. And from there we say, okay, we also need to clarify what your website address is going to be, because that's a piece of information that shows up regularly throughout your entire marketing toolkit, business card, any brochures and so forth. Another brand element that I don't deliver personally, but I team with a designer, is a logo. Because even a very small business, when you get out there professionally, you have to have a logo. That logo helps to support, helps to convey your brand. And in fact, I have a marketing colleague and friend who likes to say that the logo is the visual signature of your brand. And so then also with solopreneurs, and this is real exciting because it's so different than any other kind of business out there, with a solopreneur, you have to have a great photo, because your great photo helps to convey your brand. And I like to say it has to be a great shot, not a headshot. And there's like a whole list of things that I can go into about what makes a great shot for a solopreneur versus a headshot. So those are your brand elements: your name, your title, your tagline, your website address, your logo, and your photo. Now those come together to pull together to become your marketing toolkit. So imagine a business card with just those brand elements: your name, your title, your tagline, your logo, your website address, and your photo. So right off the bat, just in the introductory, let's say you're telling your elevator pitch, which I help people work on. You're like, we've got this really clean, streamlined, condensed elevator pitch. Here's who I am. Here's what I do. Here's what I help my clients accomplish. And meanwhile, you're handing over your business card, and it's got those key brand elements: your speaker one sheet, your brochure, your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook profile, your website. Across the board, your entire marketing toolkit has that same professional, well thought out, on target, clear, crisp, clean, consistent brand elements. So across the board throughout your marketing toolkit, again, whether it's business cards, social media profiles, website, brochures, across your entire marketing toolkit, you're presenting a clear, on-target brand.
Great information. Now, you do a little bit of speaking. Your business is mostly marketing and branding, but you do some speaking to small groups and such. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm, that's true.
And what exactly are you doing there? Should people want to know more about that?
As a speaker, I really like the workshop environment because we can sink our teeth in, and I like to guide folks into thinking about their business, having some time to work through a worksheet or two, to be introspective. Because one of the things that, and I guess I already mentioned this, that we really lack as solopreneurs is objectivity and perspective. So in a hands-on, interactive workshop environment, I can help people understand and gain a little bit more clarity about who you are, what you do, and what they get. And one of the things that we really struggle with as very small businesses is sort of getting out of our own head and putting on the customer hat. So when I talk to people about benefit messaging, and think like your client, what is it that, what are the major benefits your clients gain from working with you? A lot of times it's really difficult because they can say, well, I do this and I do that, and I help them with this and I help them with that, and I guide this and I make this happen. And I was like, well, that's great, and we need to talk about that. We need to understand it. But what is it they get? What do they get? And even more to the point, what do they get from working with you that they don't get from working with someone else in your niche? So, for example, if you're a sales workshop provider, there's a lot of people out there that conduct sales workshops, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. So we don't talk about what your competitors do and how to differentiate yourself from your competitors. But we talk about, where is it that you shine? What is it that you deliver that's just fab, that's just so specific to your sort of kit of expertise and skills and philosophies and experience. What is it that you deliver that no one else can come close? We really highlight that and identify that. So that's why I like the workshop environment, because we can really give people some time and worksheets and guidance to help think through some of those really fundamental concepts that, Andy, you and I might know, just right off the bat from being around marketing. But that is kind of a problem with a lot of businesses, is that they're really particularly good in the area that they excel in, but they have a real blind spot to marketing, and they also have a blind spot to thinking like their customer, wearing the customer hat, and that can be a real challenge. And another thing I do with my workshops as well, and you'll notice, as I had mentioned earlier, my website address is www.brandingandwebsites.com. And the reason it's brandingandwebsites.com instead of just brandingforsolopreneurs.com is because, we can talk all day long about the conceptual aspects of branding, but what my clients really need at the end of the day is they need a really hardworking website. They need hardworking a stationery kit, the business card, the letterhead, the note card, and so forth. They need really on-target social media profiles that really work for them, that are hardworking and strategic. And most of what I find is they're all over the board. Because, maybe 2 years ago I signed in for LinkedIn and I wrote a profile. Or maybe 3 years ago I created a business Facebook page and I wrote a different profile. And they use different names, different titles, different descriptions about their business, and they're all over the board. And so when I talk to people in workshops, we say, okay, what does what does your marketing toolkit look like? Why is it important for it to be on target and consistent? And then, for example, with websites, when we're in the workshop environment, there's unfortunately, a lot of struggle with small businesses about how to create a website that's really hardworking and strategic and on target. And I don't mean become your own developer. I mean put on the marketing toolkit, put on the marketing hat, the customer hat, and make sure you have a really hardworking and strategic marketing tool in your website. Is there video? Is the contact page more like an inquiry form? Not just, hey, contact us, but it needs to be a hardworking inquiry form so that it results in more qualified leads. What about an opt-in box? What about multiple opt-in boxes with various giveaways so that you can entice various website visitors to sign up, and you can get that all-important lead, follow up with them, and maybe gain a new client. At minimum, add that person to your list. So the photography, the video, the organization in terms of assets, in terms of your social media links, in terms of having an inquiry form versus just a straightforward contact form. So there are a lot of questions. There are a lot of marketing questions that need to be addressed before you ever go knocking on the door of a website developer. So you have to be really clear about your objective. You have to be clear about what it is you want this marketing tool to accomplish. How is it going to be accomplished? What are the assets that you can bring to the table for this developer so that you can have a really powerful, hardworking website that, hey, what a concept, delivers actual qualified leads to your inbox.
You heard it here, folks. Patrice, you've given tons of information, and listen, folks, if you were overwhelmed by that information, which I'm sure you were, you need to call Patrice and have her straighten you out. So, Patrice, thank you for joining us, and I want to repeat your website again. It is brandingandwebsites.com. And is that the best way to get a hold of you should they want to know more?
That absolutely is, because I've got some freebies on the website, lots and lots of information, a very active blog with video blogging. I've really been doing some fun stuff with my website and video and so forth lately. So there's so much great information on the website, including a free worksheet, or actually mini workbook to nail your elevator pitch. So there's lots of good stuff. So thanks very much, Andy. I enjoyed this.
I did too. Thank you, Patrice.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.